we usually tend to want to forgive this person by the sudden moment that it happens. And as a person of nature, we tend to always want to lean into the good understanding of them, and we want to have our heart be tender towards them, so we say that we forgave them. But then our actions towards that forgiveness that we have proclaimed don't really show that we have forgiven them at all. We're putting the evidence against them constantly, and we're constantly thinking and having all of the evidence or anything that they have done bad to us define them as a person. And those issues shouldn't define a person. The reason why you're having this resentment is because you do not know what you want. Hi everyone, welcome to the them.We podcast, a podcast dedicated to those willing to reach their high potential selves, open to wisdom and knowledge, self-development, mental health, and mindset growth. In this podcast, I aim to deliver messages that will help you and improve your life and mental stability. This is the them.We podcast. Hi everyone, welcome to the them.We podcast. I've posted the video wasted potential, and it actually did really good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, that was one of the best videos I've ever recorded, because I'm starting to get the gist of it. But now that I've seen the numbers and the potential that I have, like, that video was revealing itself to me. Like, that helped me a lot in trying to develop also a sense of potential towards my life. And so when I posted that, I was like, dude, like, I have actually the potential to do something too, so like, I wasn't just speaking to y'all or to the people behind the camera, but I was also speaking to myself, which is crazy how just me knowing that I have the potential for something, and I could like tell y'all because I know, like, I unlocked a new potential. Like, me sharing that helped me also unlock a new one, which is so crazy that one video can do that to me. And I just thought, like, a lot of people started seeing the video, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, Sherlyn, like, you did so good with that and all of that. So that's that. Like, I actually enjoy the feedback that I've gotten, and I absolutely appreciate it. I am almost to 100 subscribers, which is crazy because I didn't think I was actually gonna get like 100 subscribers. Like, the thing is, I'm not really consistent, so like, how the heck did I even get 100? Like, I don't even know. But thanks God that I'm almost reaching 100 subscribers. Thanks to y'all, thanks to the people that have actually been like wanting to hear more about me. I'm trying to be more consistent in my work, so we're working on that, but it's all in the glory of God. Anyways, guys, today's topic is forgive and forget. A lot of people have issues with forgiving people, and like, I understand it is such a hard thing because your heart feels so full of like anger and rage and all of these type of emotions that are developed through the process of you trying to forgive them. Like, you have all of that bottled up inside your heart, and the forgiveness part, or the action of forgiving someone, that's what throws you behind. That's what like holds you back. We're climbing up a mountain, and sometimes you had to let some people go behind because you had to bring yourself up. You can't hold on to people that are not gonna serve you, and so with my journey climbing up the mountain, right, there's a lot of people that did me dirty climbing up. And as much, if I were to put my whole attention and power to what that person has done in my life, I would have never reached the top of the mountain, which is my potential. I would never reach that top because of how focused I am and centered on a situation that I couldn't control. That's the thing. We're focusing on putting all of our power in situations that we cannot control. It had to happen. That person that did you wrong had to happen. If that situation never happened, you would never understand the real meaning of what forgiveness is. You would never understand what the real meaning of a person is. You had to see the true colors of that person before you actually walked even further. So that's why it was a stop in your path, and that's why you had to realize what the person and the colors behind that person was. And now that you realize and know their colors and all of that, your action as a mature person is to actually forgive them. When you forgive, you're winning. Withholding that grudge and trying to put revenge against that person, you're losing. Think like a winner. A winner, once they win, they never think about being losers, And that's why I love thinking about being winners, because if I win, I know I had to have like the humble like submission. And if I win, I know I wouldn't want to have to like lose what I had now that I won to go to waste. So I would train constantly to get another win. Whenever you win, you start feeling addicted to that. You're gonna start wanting to win and win and win and win and win and win and win. Of course we're gonna lose, but we shouldn't define the person's personality or person's actions to actually let us down and become losers. Like, that's not how we should be looking at ourselves. We are winners, and we should be able to look at the person and be like, hey, I forgive you. And that person, even if they question it, how kind you are or how like tenderhearted you are to them, you gotta act that way. And why should we act that way towards a person? Is because it benefits us by a lot. The benefits of forgiving someone is a lot. Whenever you forgive, you're letting go of resentment. That's what forgiveness is. Accept what they have done to you. There's things that they already have been done, so you can't do nothing about it other than forgiving that person. Now, as much as we want to like talk about like, oh, it's so hard to forgive, forgiveness is a process. And you know why you're so uncomfortable on trying to forgive them is because you do not enjoy processes. You don't enjoy the progress. You don't enjoy that part of life. See, that's the thing. You want things to come easy to you, but they're never gonna come easy to you right away. No. The God gives you what you need at the right time. It could be now, it could be later, or it could be never. You never know. But that, wherever, you can't forget that person right away. It's a process. And we're so uncomfortable with trying to experience change and trying to experience like alterations. We're so uncomfortable with that because we never experienced that before. We always like try to, the thing is that we always put an excuse. We're like, oh my gosh, like, they were so nice to me, but I don't know what they would do that to me. Like, dude, let it go. Like, you shouldn't be acting that way towards that person. You gotta be mature about what you're saying. You gotta be like wise about what you're basically like trying, like what your intentions are. If your intentions are truly about forgiving that person, you should be acting wise and you should be acting like a grown person. That's the thing. We're acting like children. And if we keep these actions of acting like children now as teenagers, imagine when we're adults. If we don't break the chains, if we don't break the habits now, whenever we're adults, we're gonna get those bad habits to us. We gotta break them now before we take them with us in adulthood. Whenever we forgive someone now, imagine how many things you are curing. A lot. The drama. You're getting peace. That's the thing. If you have such perfect peace with the bond that you have in your life, you're gonna show that peace to others. I have such perfect peace with God that my actions and peace towards that person actually shows. Why? Because God gave me that peace. And I don't want someone to take away my power over something that I couldn't control. It had to happen. Life is life. And I couldn't control the situation. I couldn't control the action of the person. As much as I could and I wanted it to stop, it couldn't. But as a mature person, I forgive them, And that's where it leads me to forget what the heck happened. And there's a difference between memory and remembrance. Because memory, it's like in our head. It's like storage. It's like stored in our brain already. And of course, we're always gonna have that memory of what they've done because it's already been done. Now, remembering, it's reliving that process or living that moment that it was done. Now, we need to forget what they have done so we can be able to move on with life. Now, the biggest gift is to actually forgive so you can move on. And that's what's amazing, that we have the choice to forgive. If we don't forgive, then we're just gonna hold up so much of like things that we can't control, and we're gonna take all of that to our future. We're gonna take all of that through processes. Now, I'm gonna give you this example, okay? I think she does watch my podcast, and I see her grow. I see her like becoming the best version of herself, and I actually admire that from her. Like, I absolutely adore that she's actually putting time for herself and all of that, my bad, self. And I see that and I'm just so impressed. I'm like, girl, you've grown so much. Like, I love the progress. I love seeing people progresses. Like, I'm just like, wow, like that's amazing. And for some time, as immature children we were in middle school, like the things that were happening in middle school, they were so stupid. Like, I'm telling you, they were so stupid. But for me to to move on, like to enter my next chapter, I had to forgive that person, you know. And even though you're like, oh, I don't want to, or like, oh, it's hard, it's gonna be awkward, I'll tell you, it's gonna pay off. Like, that person, even if they don't want to listen, or even though they don't care, or even though like they're angry at you, like, do what you're supposed to do. Be the light. Be like the light that people want to see. And once you start showing that light and start showing that positive attribute within yourself, you're gonna start seeing that people are gonna, like, they're gonna leave respect. Whenever you start putting the action of being a grown-up and having a mature mind, you start gaining respect. Now that's where we have to forgive so we can gain respect. No matter if you are holding that resentment against that person, whenever you forgive and you're forgetting, you're gonna gain that respect. When you're gaining that respect, you feel powerful in your own way. Why? Because you didn't give away your power to a situation you couldn't control. You didn't hold such resentment against them and did revenge. Now that's the thing, a lot of us were like, oh, we're gonna give them revenge, or they're gonna pay what they have done. Like, let God do it, let the universe deal with it, like, let him do it. If you do it, you're probably you're not gonna execute it well. I'm sorry, but whatever you're gonna do is not gonna be a good idea, so don't do it, you know. Forget what they have done to you. Don't remember or start living in the things that have already been done, because if you're living through that process again and again and again and again, and you're just making an excuse, it's just a memory, girl, you have a choice to remember or not. You have a choice to replay it or not. Now, if we're constantly replaying what they have done, of course we're going to put that evidence against them. And that's why we always tend to say, I'll forgive you, but I won't forget it. We gotta forget what they have done so we can be able to move on. You want to move on with your life? Then move on for what they have done. Stop trying to hold such evidence against that person, because number one, what are you winning by holding that evidence against them? I forgive you, but remember what you did though? Like, what you mean remember what I did? You forgave me for a reason, and you have no hold of counting the wrong against me. God didn't put anything wrong against you. The universe didn't put anything wrong against you. So why are you putting wrong against somebody? Have you put yourself wrong upon yourself? Because if that's the case, you gotta fix yourself internally. You gotta start changing some things up and changing your behavior, which I want to talk about that later on, about your behavior changes. And you got to start developing a new consciousness towards a situation that you can't control, and actually forgive that person. Because as I mentioned, what are you winning? And I think my dad, for that principle that he has told me, is that what are you winning by holding something against a person? You're not winning money. You're not winning paid bills. You're not winning a car. You're not winning anything. You're not winning peace. Imagine that. Bro, you win peace by forgiving. You win peace by forgetting. Now, that's why every single time someone does wrong to me, I tend to have that tender heart. Now, the reason why you can't forget is because your heart is so hard. It is so harsh. And that's how I can tell someone doesn't have the right love towards a person. Now, for you to be able to forget someone, of course, is a process, but you should be able to learn and understand how to love yourself first. When you start understanding to love yourself, you're going to start feeling that compassion towards others. And then, of course, you're going to feel that action to actually forgive that person. And of course, for you to be able to move on, you're going to forget it. You know, I'm not going to remember the people that have done me. Like, think about it. Of course, as I mentioned, we're climbing this mountain, and I'm not going to remember the people that I left off, because I'm like literally climbing steps. I don't have time to replay the memories of what that person has done to me. I don't have time to remember. You know, I have so much time that it's my currency. You have to treat your time and value it like it's currency. Everybody wants to value money, but we don't want to value our time. If you value your time, you're going to value how you're going to approach every situation around you. You're going to approach every time limit that you have, and you're actually going to do according to the time, because time is valuable and time gets wasted. But whenever you're actually like valuing time, you're going to start seeing that you don't got time to remember what that person has done. When you start valuing time, you're not going to have time to even like think about that person. You know, like, your time is so valuable that there's no need for that person's wrongdoing to hold against your life. you're in control of your life and you're deciding, and your decision is to either forget that person or keep holding the grudge. And not just that, forgiving but not forgetting, you're also in control of that. If I'm forgiving you and I forgot everything that you have done, I'm not allowing you access to my life. Like, I'm not. You should also have that boundaries within your life. I forgive you. Always forgive. Always forgive. Even if their character is bad, even though their character is not good, or even like just the smallest things that you can think of about the person that are not worth forgiving, you should also put boundaries. Like, I know sometimes we have like, sometimes with family, we always forgive. But that's what love is. Once we love ourselves, we can love to others. And not just that, love is forgiving. And so, whenever you have the understanding of love, that's why understanding and forgiving somebody is by love. If I love you so much, I'm gonna forgive you and I'm gonna forget it. And I'm not allowing you access to my life because I also love myself. That's the thing. Do not take disregard about yourself. Think about yourself as well, because you're in control of your life, and if you're allowing bad things, you can also cut them off, and so whenever you're forgiving that person, it also means a dead end for your life. So whatever it is, you gotta start like discerning, is this person worth forgiving again, or is this person worth putting my life again. Now, I do want to talk about second chances on the next episode, because it's such like a topic that it's like, yeah, I believe in second chances, but there's like a limit. But in forgiving, you should always forgive and forgive and forgive, because that's where your heart comes from, and heart comes from love. Well, love comes from heart. Well, I don't know how it goes. Here are 7 things or solutions to come towards a person that has done you wrong. Love and do good to the offender. Always do good towards that person. No matter if they did you wrong or not, take the action to be good towards them. Don't speak poorly on the offender. Just because they're talking bad about you doesn't mean you have the authority to talk bad about them. Be wise with your words and watch your mouth. Learn to manage the impact. Learn how to understand that situation and actually cope with what happened, because the thing is that we tend to like take the impact and we take it so personally. But in the four agreements, in the book of 4 agreements, it talks about don't take everything personally, because if you do, you're gonna give away your power, and we should be able to like protect our power and our will. Forgiveness is both a decision and a process. As I mentioned, you decide and you actually accept the process of forgiving, because there's steps of forgiveness, and not just that, also steps to grieve, there's steps to love, there's steps for everything. And so forgiveness is one of those characteristics that you also have to like build up and have the process. Is the process or the destination? You're gonna get the forgiveness very soon, or you're gonna have that forgiving attitude very soon if you just accept the process. Release them from their punishment. There shouldn't be any punishment against that person, because I really doubt they even care about what they have done. And you're over here like thinking, oh, they're gonna pay. Pay what? They're not gonna do nothing for you. Like, be for real. Treat them how you want to be treated. You gotta like put yourselves in their shoes as well, because I feel like that's what I've learned about being compassionate, is putting myself in other people's shoes and understanding them in that way. And it actually did help a lot, because it just helped me like realize what a person actually goes through in their life. And so if they're treating me this way, of course I'm gonna treat them better, because I might get treated better the same way. But if they're not, it's up to them. That just means that they don't enjoy their life. They're angry at life if they're gonna have that such bitter heart. When you forgive, you heal. When you let go, you grow. Let's grow in this process of forgiving that person and forgetting what they have done, so that evidence against them can't be against them. Become optimistic and be grateful it had to happen that way. Appreciate the situation and take honorable response towards the result. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening to the Frame of Mind podcast on Spotify, and if you're watching here on YouTube, thank you guys so much also for like the support and everything. I really appreciate it. Anyways, guys, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and rate the podcast show on Spotify. If you haven't yet seen the Spotify, like, I recommend y'all to listen to it on Spotify as well, because that's gonna help me a lot on Spotify as well. Thank you for listening. Bye, guys.